Imagine for a moment that the power to heal, to transform every cell, every thought, every part of your being, does not come from outside, but from within your own mind. For centuries, the great healers of the world guarded the same secret, a mental law so profound, so powerful, that it could restore the body, balance the soul, and rewrite the destiny of humankind. Joseph Murphy, one of the greatest explorers of the subconscious, uncovered this mystery and turned it into a clear path toward health, fulfillment, and living faith. This is not just another text. It is a key that unlocks the doors of the creative mind. Prepare to discover how thoughts become healing energy, how faith becomes medicine, and how your consciousness, when guided with wisdom, can repair what the world calls impossible. Welcome to the secret of the great healers, the mental law that repairs your body. Here begins your journey to the inner power that heals all. At this very moment, as you read these lines, within you resides a healing power so vast that it could cure any illness known to man. I am not exaggerating or fantasizing. I speak of a force I have witnessed at work over 35 years of ministry, transforming bodies and lives where traditional medicine had exhausted its resources. I have witnessed healings that many considered impossible, yet they always followed the same universal principles. Today, I want to share that secret with you. True healing does not violate any natural law. It works with the laws of life on a deeper level. Most people are unaware of how their own being functions. They believe health and disease depend on chance, inheritance, or luck. But there is an inner cause, a silent engine that directs every heartbeat, every regeneration, every process in your body, your subconscious mind. This mind works day and night, regulating digestion, heart rhythm, hormone balance, and tissue repair. It is your factory of life, and it literally obeys the impressions and beliefs that your conscious mind transmits. Allow me to illustrate this with a simple analogy. Imagine your conscious mind is the dial of a radio, and your subconscious is the receiver. If the dial tunes into fear, doubt, or worry, the receiver transmits those vibrations to the body. If instead the dial chooses faith, peace, and health, the body responds with vitality and harmony. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. It is not superficial words, but deep-seated beliefs, those dwelling in your heart, that produce miracles. Throughout my experience, I have observed something remarkable. Two people with the same diagnosis can have radically different outcomes. One embraces the possibility of healing, trusts, and surrenders to life. The other, although desperately wishing for it, does not truly believe and clings to fear. The power lies not in desire, but in subconscious acceptance. There is a crucial difference between wanting to be healed and accepting healing. One who only wants remains in lack. One who accepts allows life to act through them. Let me share 5 real stories. I saw a woman deemed hopeless due to an inoperable brain tumor return healthy and whole in just a few weeks after applying the principles of the subconscious mind. I witnessed a man regain full mobility in a leg diagnosed as irrecoverable. I treated a young woman with severe asthma who, after learning to visualize perfect breathing, never required hospitalization again. I received letters from mothers who applied affirmations with their feverish children and watched their temperatures normalize. In minutes, I saw an elderly woman resigned to living with arthritis regain her independence after forgiving an old wound and affirming night after night, "Divine life flows through my hands and my feet." Now I must be clear and ethical. This book does not replace professional medical care. If you are under medical treatment, continue with it. Wisdom lies in combining the best of science and spirit. What you will learn here is a powerful complement, not a substitute. The promise is real. The healing power already exists within you. My task is to show you how to awaken it. If you open your mind and practice consistently, you will soon discover that healing, far from being a mystery reserved for a few, is your natural right. You have control of the dial. Your subconscious is ready to respond. Choose carefully what you plant, what you truly believe in your heart. That will manifest in your body and your life. The secret of great healers. Based on the teachings of Joseph Murphy, we've noticed that more than 80% of people who visit our channel are not subscribed. You can support this project by hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. Thank you for inspiring us to keep creating more and better content for you. Are you ready to transform your life? Chapter 1. The Scientific Law Behind All Healing. At this very moment, dear reader, within you are forces of such astonishing precision that even the finest engineer in the world would be amazed. Your heart beats without you having to remind it. Your lungs expand, absorbing the oxygen needed to nourish every cell, and your wounds, whether you are asleep or distracted, heal by the work of a deep, constant wisdom. All of this happens without the participation of your conscious will, without you speaking a single word, without moving a single finger. This is how your subconscious mind operates, the true silent architect of your health and well-being. The greatest error of humanity has been to believe that spiritual healing is a matter of mysticism, chance, or magic. It is not. Spiritual healing is as scientific and precise as the law of gravity. It is a universal, immutable law that responds with mathematical exactness to the impressions it receives. Just as a stone always falls toward the earth, so too does your body always respond to the impressions you allow to take root in your subconscious mind. Before we delve into how this law functions, it is vital to understand the internal structure of your mind, for it is there that every healing process begins. Think of your mind as a vast field divided into three main zones: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. The conscious mind is the gardener. It chooses the seeds, decides which thoughts and beliefs to plant. The subconscious is the fertile soil that receives these seeds without judgment, nurturing them and allowing them to grow, whether good or bad, healthy or harmful. And the superconscious, the higher level, is like the sun, providing light, vision, creativity, and intuition, connecting you to the source of all life. Most people live unaware of the power of their subconscious, allowing inherited beliefs, fears, and resentments to take root and flourish as physical discomforts and illnesses. It is as if the gardener randomly throws seeds and then is surprised to see weeds cover the field. But the truth, and here lies the secret of the great healers, is that your subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. If you intensely imagine biting into a juicy lemon, merely by vividly thinking about it, your mouth begins to water. Notice this phenomenon right now. Close your eyes and imagine cutting a fresh lemon. See the pulp glisten, bring the wedge to your lips, squeeze it, and feel the sour taste invade your mouth. You are genuinely experiencing a physical reaction. This is how the mind-body connection works here and now. It is no coincidence that Jesus said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." Matthew 9:29. Stripped of dogma, these words contain the essence of the mental law. Faith, in mental terms, is conviction felt, deep emotion, the total acceptance of an idea as true within you. The subconscious responds only to feeling, not to the mechanical repetition of empty words. If you repeat "I am healthy" 100 times, but deep in your heart you fear, doubt, or expect illness, your subconscious will hear only the fear and doubt. For the language of the subconscious is emotion, not words. Here we arrive at the fundamental law I want you to ingrain in your mind right now. What you impress upon the subconscious with consent and conviction will express itself in your physical body. This is a law. It asks no permission. It does not distinguish between beneficial or harmful ideas. It receives and executes, just as the earth produces a harvest from any seed the gardener plants, whether wheat or weeds. Therefore, if you wish to harvest health, prosperity, and well-being, you must plant thoughts and beliefs of health, prosperity, and well-being. Do so with emotion, with the certainty of a farmer who knows the earth will do its part without error. Consider this case I witnessed personally. A businessman suffering from severe ulcers came to me when conventional medicine offered only temporary relief. For years, his conscious mind had been flooded with constant worries about his business. Every difficulty caused a knot in his stomach, corrosive anxiety. I explained that he needed to change his thought patterns. He began visualizing scenes of harmony at work before sleeping, pleasant meetings, satisfied clients. Upon waking, he would affirm, "Divine peace fills my mind and my stomach now." Within weeks, his pain subsided, the ulcers healed, and his doctor was astonished by a recovery he had considered improbable. Was this magic? No, it was the scientific law of the subconscious in action. Pause for a moment and reflect. If your subconscious mind continuously directs billions of cellular processes, why would it not be able to correct a malfunction, restore damaged tissues, or rebalance systems. Mental stress, for example, generates cortisol, a substance that weakens the immune system, opening the door to illness. But serene thinking, trust, and firm hope restore balance and stimulate regeneration. This is the medicine of the mind, as real as any drug you can ingest. The difference is the cause. One acts from outside in, the other from inside out. Let me illustrate this principle further with the gardener parable. The gardener does not worry daily about the exact process of germination. He knows that if he plants the right seed, the soil will respond faithfully. Likewise, you must learn to trust that your subconscious works for you ceaselessly, responding to the quality of your thoughts and emotions. Plant fear, and you harvest illness. Plant peace, and you harvest health. This law never fails, and you may now wonder why, if this is so simple, some people heal and others do not. The answer lies in the depth of subconscious impression. Many wish to heal, but few truly accept healing. Desire belongs to the conscious mind. Acceptance belongs to the subconscious. When an idea is emotionally accepted, it becomes an internal law and begins to manifest in your body. If your conscious mind requests healing but your subconscious doubts, doubt is the seed that will germinate. That is why empty affirmations fail. Genuine feeling is the water that makes the seed grow. I often receive letters from readers sharing healings that science deemed impossible. One such testimony came from a skeptical doctor. He had suffered from rheumatoid arthritis for over a decade. In his letter, he recounts that, out of professional curiosity, he applied these principles to himself. Every night before sleeping, he repeated with feeling, "Every cell of my body is saturated with divine life and energy. My joints are flexible and free." He visualized his hands moving effortlessly, imagined the relief. At first, he felt doubt, but persevered. After 3 months, his mobility improved markedly. A year later, he had fully recovered joint function and called it the miracle of the mental law. Another reader, a young woman, wrote, "For years I suffered from debilitating migraines. No remedy helped. One day, reading your teachings, I realized I was allowing self-critical thoughts and constant pressure. I began affirming in my mind, I am peace. My mind is clear. Every cell in my head radiates well-being." The attacks gradually ceased. Today, migraines are only a memory, and my life has changed. Let me anticipate and address a common objection. Why are some healings instantaneous while others take time? Here enters the principle of gestation. Just as a seed does not bloom instantly, so too the healing process has its own incubation period, determined by the intensity of feeling, the depth of subconscious impression, and the consistency of practice. Some diseases rooted for years require time to dissolve. Others, with total and immediate acceptance, can vanish in an instant. Do not worry about the time. Focus your mind on the conviction that the law is working, and let nature perform its perfect work. Remember the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. Your body is the exact reflection of the dominant thoughts and feelings within you. Change the cause, and the effect will change. Impress health upon your subconscious, and health will manifest in your body. This is a simple and absolute truth, valid for all and at all times. I now invite you to perform a simple but profoundly revealing exercise. Take a moment and think of a lemon. As I mentioned before, imagine its color, its aroma, the sound of the peel as you cut it, the fresh juice. Feel the reaction in your mouth, the salivation. This is undeniable proof that thought produces real effects in the body. If such a simple idea can create an immediate physical reaction, imagine what a powerful conviction repeated with faith and emotion can do. Today, as you finish this chapter, recognize and accept the scientific law of healing. You are the gardener of your life. The seeds are in your hands. Choose to plant health, peace, and harmony. Water these seeds with sincere feeling. Nurture them with the light of faith. Your subconscious, like generous soil, will do the rest. It is law, and law never fails. From this moment, proclaim within yourself, what I impress upon my subconscious with consent, my body manifests perfectly. This is the key. This is the secret of great healers. Practice it, and you will see the fruits. Your health depends on what you now accept as law in your inner world. Chapter 2. Healers Throughout History, a Universal Method. When you observe the art of healing expressed across different corners of the world and throughout time, it is easy to be deceived by outward appearances, by cultural attire, rituals, and words. Yet, when you look with the eyes of understanding, you perceive the invisible thread that connects all the great healers of humanity. The method may change, but the law is always the same. The miracle is not the suspension of natural laws, but the application of a higher law, the spiritual mental law, over a lower one, the physical. Just as electricity does not destroy the law of gravity but uses it in a different way, so true healing does not violate, but reveals the hidden power within the human being. Consider Jesus of Nazareth, the supreme healer in Western consciousness. The Gospels abound with stories of blind men receiving sight, lepers being restored, and paralytics walking. The casual reader sees only the external events, but the attentive observer perceives the inner method. Jesus never imposed healing. First, he elevated the patient's consciousness to full acceptance of the solution. That is why, before acting, he asked, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" Matthew 9:28. The question is not rhetorical. It is the act of planting in the subconscious of another the seed of conviction. Healing, then, is not a magical act, but a response of the mental law to genuine faith, a certainty felt in the heart. Observe the story of the man blind from birth, John 9. The disciples ask, "Who sinned, he or his parents?" Jesus rejects the notion of inherited guilt and declares that the works of God might be manifested in him. He then anoints the man's eyes with mud and instructs him to wash in the pool of Siloam. The external act is only a symbol. The true miracle occurs when the man accepts, deep within his being, the possibility of sight. Jesus guides him from the consciousness of the problem to the vision of perfection. There is no coercion, only an invitation. Believe, and you will see. This is how the law works. We see the same principle in the Buddha, who traveled through villages teaching that suffering is not divine punishment, but the result of erroneous thoughts and desires. Healings witnessed by his disciples stemmed from the principle that the mind, when purified and focused on truth, restores harmony to the body. It was not magic, but the awakening of consciousness to its original nature. Health is your natural state. In the Catholic tradition, saints like Francis of Assisi and Teresa of Avila performed healings through absolute faith in the divine presence. They did not attribute the power to themselves, but to a universal intelligence acting through them, always in proportion to the recipient's acceptance. The common denominator is the same: to elevate the sick from a state of fear, guilt, or resignation to one of trust, forgiveness, and gratitude. The subconscious, freed from error, expresses health. The Kaunas of the Avalian peoples, ancestral healers, teach the technique of AK Core, a mental connection between healer and patient. They believe thoughts, like fine threads of energy, connect people through intention. When the Kauna visualizes perfection for another, he holds that image unwaveringly until the patient's subconscious accepts it as real. Isn't this the same scientific application I have described to you? The language changes, but the principle is identical. Cenas Kimball, an American pioneer, and Mary Baker Eddy, founder of Christian Science, brought this method into daily practice in the 19th century. Kimball did not rely on prayers or laying on of hands. He would sit with the patient and converse until the person was convinced that the illness was a false belief maintained by fear and suggestion. Once the patient accepted the possibility of health, it manifested. Mary Baker Eddy, after experiencing her own healing, taught that when the mind aligns with spiritual truth, it frees the body from all limitations. Both, regardless of their context, used the universal law: elevate consciousness from limitation to recognition of perfection. I have traveled and witnessed remarkable healings in Lourdes, the famous pilgrimage site. There one perceives an atmosphere of collective faith, a vibration of hope so powerful it seems to permeate the air. People of all creeds, even agnostics, experience physical and emotional improvements. Why does this happen? Because although the external ritual varies, the water, the prayer, the song, the key is that thousands of minds in sincere expectation of a miracle create a field of conviction that facilitates the subconscious acceptance of healing. It is not the sight that heals, but collective faith, minds elevated in unison. In recent times, healers like Catherine Kuhlman and Oral Roberts have continued this tradition, each with their own style but applying the same principle, holding in consciousness the perfect vision of the patient and refusing to accept the appearance of disease as final. Kuhlman, in her large meetings, invited attendees to open themselves to the possibility of the impossible, repeating that the healing power was already present, only waiting to be recognized and accepted. Collective emotion, music, and stories of healing, all directed to lead the mind from problem to certainty of solution. Thus, we can compare superficial methods and see that, although names, words, and forms change, the inner process is universal. It is like the parable of the master musician. Different instruments produce different sounds, but the melody is one. Christ, Buddha, the saints, the Kahnas, Kimball, Kuhlman, all played the music of the mental law, each on their own instrument, but the underlying harmony remains. James Allen, Trobar, and other modern sages have confirmed this truth. The mind is the connecting link between the human being and the source of all good. If the mind is the cause, the mind can be the solution. Faith, visualization, prayer, spoken word, and acceptance are not superstitions, but scientific tools to reprogram the subconscious and transform outer life. Allow me to share my testimony from Lourdes. I remember a woman carried on a stretcher who had lost all hope according to medicine. The doctors accompanied her only out of compassion. At the sanctuary, surrounded by chants and prayers, her face transformed. No one could doubt the presence of something invisible and powerful. Soon, she rose and walked amid tears of gratitude. Was it the water? The location? No. It was the internal conviction, the seed of faith planted and nurtured in an environment of collective acceptance. Now you understand, the true miracle is not breaking the law, but applying it at a higher level. When the mind rises, it produces the corresponding effect in the body. As within, so without. Where consciousness sees perfection, matter responds. I invite you to reflect. What belief do you wish to change today? Are you willing to release old thinking and embrace the possibility of the new? This is the invitation of all great healers. Change your thought and your world will change. Lift your gaze and you will see the solution. This is the universal method. Practice it and join the unbroken chain of healers who, throughout the centuries, have applied the spiritual law for the benefit of humanity. To deepen this truth, meditate on these words. Proverbs 4:20-22. Pay attention to my words. They are life to those who find them, and health to all their body. Psalm 103:2-3. Do not forget any of his benefits. He forgives all your iniquities and heals all your diseases. Remember what the great healers have done, you can do as well, because the law is the same for all, at all times and places. Now you know the method. Now it is your turn to apply it. Chapter 3. Spiritual Anatomy. How your thoughts create health or disease. Pause for a moment and contemplate the silent miracle of your body. Thousands of invisible yet constant processes sustain life. The heart beats, blood circulates, digestion transforms food into energy, and each cell performs its function in perfect harmony. But have you ever asked yourself, what force directs, regulates, and ultimately can unbalance this biological marvel? The answer is clear. Your mind, your thoughts and emotions, which act as the silent architects of health or disease. The medicine of New Thought has understood, through observing thousands of cases, that each organ in your body is more than a physical structure. It is also a repository of experiences and emotions. Just as the stomach digests food, it also processes worry. Just as the heart pumps blood, it expresses joy or the lack of it. Just as the liver filters toxins, it also retains anger. These are not poetic metaphors. They are realities repeatedly confirmed in practice and daily life. There are 7 master destructive emotions which, when unrecognized or unchanneled, plant seeds of discomfort and illness in the body: fear, anger, resentment, guilt, anxiety, envy, and self-condemnation. These emotions, when fixed and repeated, become patterns that the subconscious interprets as instructions, affecting the function of entire organs and systems. This is how the mind speaks through the body. Allow me to outline for you the basic organ-emotion map derived from observing thousands of people over the years. Liver stores anger and frustration. Those who dwell on grievances or indignation often manifest liver problems. Lungs reflect deep sorrow and repressed grief. Many respiratory conditions originate in unresolved mourning. Stomach and intestines embody worry, anticipatory fear, and the inability to digest difficult life experiences. Heart responds to joy or its absence. Emotional rigidity, inability to give or receive love, and persistent loneliness manifest as heart disease. Skin, the boundary between you and the world, expresses anxiety, shame, and the need for protection. Breakouts, eczema, and acne often reflect cries from the psyche. Diabetes, mentally associated with bitterness and the sense that life has lost its sweetness. Autoimmune disorders, where the body attacks its own cells, often stem from self-rejection, deep guilt, and self-hatred. The subconscious, faithfully following received orders, translates commands literally. If you reject yourself deeply, your body expresses it in its own language. It is crucial to understand that recognizing the mental cause of a disease does not mean blaming the patient. There is no room here for guilt or judgment. On the contrary, this knowledge empowers you. If physical symptoms are messages, they are letters from the subconscious pointing to an unresolved conflict, a mental knot seeking release. The symptom, far from being an enemy, is an ally. It indicates where to look, what to release, what to forgive. I have repeatedly witnessed the transformative power of this understanding. Allow me to share the story of a woman who suffered from chronic migraines for over a decade. After consulting numerous doctors and trying all kinds of treatments without success, she decided to explore the mental origin of her discomfort. In a sincere session, she identified a deep resentment toward her mother, never expressed, never forgiven. For weeks she worked to release that feeling, affirming each night, "I completely forgive and release my mother. I release myself." Gradually, the migraines became less frequent until they disappeared entirely. It was not magic, it was conscious healing. On another occasion, an accountant trapped in a job he detested developed severe colitis. Medical tests revealed no definitive physical cause. In conversation, it became clear that his stomach could not digest the life he was living. He bravely decided to pursue work, aligned with his true values and abilities. Soon his digestive health improved dramatically. The body responded to the mental liberation. Mind and body form an indivisible unity. Every word, every thought, every emotion is an affirmation. As the famous author Louise Hay says, "Every thought you think and every word you speak is an affirmation." If your thoughts are of fear, condemnation, or self-rejection, that is what you plant. If they are of love, forgiveness, and acceptance, you will harvest health and well-being. It is the law of sowing and reaping, valid both in the field and in the soul. Now pause and perform this practical exercise. Take pen and paper. Write down the physical symptom that concerns you most. Ask it, "What message do you bring me?" Allow the answer to arise from within without forcing it, without judgment. You may recall memories, emotions, or unresolved situations. Do not fear. What is revealed can be released. Make this exercise a habit, and you will see your body begin to speak to you in an increasingly clear and constructive language. I have received letters from people who healed conditions considered incurable through the simple act of listening to the message of their symptoms and acting accordingly. A corporate executive with severe hypertension discovered through this method that he carried old resentments toward colleagues and superiors. He began working on forgiveness, releasing the emotional weight that oppressed his heart. 3 months later, his blood pressure normalized and his vital energy was reborn. Do not underestimate the role of positive emotions. Gratitude, joy, love, and trust are powerful medicines. They strengthen the immune system, raise energy levels, restore balance. Just as fear can make one sick, gratitude heals. It is crucial to emphasize that the correlation between emotions and disease does not mean every illness is caused solely by the mind. There are physical, hereditary, and environmental factors. However, I have never seen a case where an inner change, even a small one, did not improve the overall condition. The mind is not omnipotent over the body, but it is the most underestimated factor in health and illness. Remember this, your body does not betray you. It is the faithful messenger of your subconscious. Learn to listen, interpret, and above all, transform your thoughts and emotions. Choose to plant health, understanding, love, and forgiveness. Your body, like fertile soil, will respond with fruits of well-being and vitality. Make this chapter your compass. If a symptom arises, do not see it as an enemy, but as an ally willing to show you the path back to balance. Ask it, listen, and act. This way, you turn every experience, even a difficult one, into an opportunity for self-knowledge and transformation. From today, proclaim with conviction, I listen to the message of my body, release the past, plant health, and harvest well-being. Your spiritual anatomy is perfect in its origin. Make your mind recognize and express it more fully each day. Here lies the key to all true healing. Chapter 4, Forgiveness. The most powerful medicine in the world. There is no medicine more powerful, no remedy deeper than authentic forgiveness. I'm not referring to superficial forgiveness, nor the mechanical gesture dictated by courtesy or habit, but to the kind of forgiveness that penetrates to the depths of the subconscious, releasing vital energy trapped by resentment, guilt, and unresolved pain. Forgiveness practiced in this way is a regenerative force, a master key that opens the door to health, peace, and true joy. Let me be clear from the start. Resentment is mental poison. This is not a metaphor. It is a biological and spiritual reality. When you harbor grudges, when you dwell on past injuries, when you relive old wounds, your subconscious interprets these emotions as a command for slow self-destruction. Vital energy becomes blocked, life force stagnates, and the body begins to manifest symptoms, sometimes mild, sometimes devastating, that no external medicine can heal while the cause remains alive in the mind. I have seen with my own eyes how resentment not only embittered the soul but literally poisoned the body. People who had never been ill, upon falling prey to hatred or guilt, developed inexplicable ailments. I have also witnessed the reverse transformation. Diseases once considered incurable receded when the individual decided to forgive, release, and bless wholeheartedly. True forgiveness does not mean denying the harm suffered, nor justifying the other person's actions. Genuine forgiveness does not condone, it liberates. You can forgive without approving. You can release the weight of the past without validating the offender. Forgiveness is an act of inner freedom. You do it not for the other person, but for yourself. Remember the words of wisdom. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The only one affected is you, because the subconscious takes that emotional poison and somatizes it in your body. Let me illustrate with the parable of the unforgiving servant. Matthew 18:21-35. Jesus tells the story of a servant whose master forgives an enormous debt, but who, once freed, refuses to forgive a small debt owed by a fellow servant. The result? The forgiveness received is revoked, and the servant falls into prison. The lesson is clear and powerful. If you do not release others, you keep yourself imprisoned. Resentment is a jail you built yourself. I will now share a technique I call repetitive forgiveness. It consists of affirming blessings each day for the person who has hurt you, even if at first it seems impossible. Say, I completely release you. I let you go. You are free and I am free. I wish you peace, harmony, and all blessings. At first, resistance may arise and the emotion may feel tight. Persevere. The subconscious, exposed to repeated heartfelt affirmation, will eventually accept the new command, and healing often manifests almost instantly. What about self-forgiveness? Many can forgive others but remain trapped by guilt, by past mistakes, by words spoken or acts left undone. That guilt, when entrenched, poisons body and mind. Self-forgiveness is releasing the energy you hold against yourself. You are not perfect. No one is. Acknowledge your humanity, accept your learning, and repeat, I forgive myself and release myself. The past no longer has power over me. I choose peace. I once met a woman with severe lupus whose body responded to no medical treatment. Upon exploring her history, we discovered a deep resentment toward her father, who had hurt her in childhood. Night after night, she worked in conscious forgiveness and visualized her father wrapped in light. Gradually, her symptoms diminished. Doctors were puzzled, but she knew the real change had occurred in her mind and heart. I have received letters from men and women who, faced with terminal illness, experienced radical improvement after performing the simple but powerful act of writing letters of forgiveness to all who had ever harmed them. In most cases, these letters were never sent. The process was for themselves to free the subconscious from toxic burden. The act of writing, of acknowledging the pain, and ultimately of releasing it, produces a catalytic effect that no external medicine can match. Remember, forgiveness is not to please another, it is for your own healing. If you wait for someone else to acknowledge their guilt or to apologize, you may wait a lifetime. The power is within you, not outside you. To ensure this chapter is not just words, I propose a central exercise, simple yet revolutionary. Make a complete forgiveness list. Write down the names of all the people you need to forgive, including yourself. Each night for 30 days, read the list and affirm with conviction, I completely forgive and release you. I surround you with a circle of divine love. Do not worry if the emotion feels weak at first. Repetition combined with intention will do its work. If you practice consistently, you will feel a growing lightness in your being. The old weight will vanish. Now I invite you to a brief meditation, the visualization of forgiveness. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and visualize a room filled with soft light. Mentally bring forth the person you wish to forgive. Look them in the eyes. Imagine both of you enveloped in that light. Silently say, I forgive you and release you. We are both healed by divine light. Remain in that image until you feel peace. If practiced regularly, you will witness your body and mind renewed. I have seen astonishing healings after intensive forgiveness work. People with incurable ailments recovering health, broken relationships restored, lives transformed. I myself experienced the release of a persistent ailment when I chose to forgive a colleague with whom I had a long-standing conflict. The symptom vanished without a trace, and a once tense relationship became harmonious. Always remember, authentic forgiveness is medicine for the soul and the body. There is no price that equals its value. From today, proclaim with conviction, I choose to forgive, I choose to heal, I release the past and embrace peace. This is your greatest medicine. Practice it, and you will see miracles where others see only limitations. Your freedom begins with one act, to forgive truly from the heart. In doing so, you liberate yourself and access the power to transform your entire being. Chapter 5, Faith that Moves Mountains, How to Develop Healing Conviction. The greatest obstacle faced by sincere seekers of healing is not the illness itself, nor even physical pain or the limitations imposed by a medical diagnosis. The real challenge lies within, the struggle with doubt. How can someone who longs for healing, who repeats affirmations and prays fervently, still not obtain results? Because deep within, their faith is weak, intermittent, and has not yet taken root in the subconscious. Authentic faith is not blind hope nor fleeting optimism. It is deep conviction, an inner certainty that arises from understanding the mental law, not from mere intellectual repetition. Intellectual faith is like an empty echo. It knows the words by heart but has never felt their truth in the heart. Subconscious faith, on the other hand, is powerful. It produces peace, security, and visible results in the body. It is the difference between reading a recipe and tasting the finished dish. Jesus, the greatest teacher of faith, did not demand long speeches or endless prayers. He simply said, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17:20. Why such a tiny seed? Because what matters is not quantity but quality. A small seed, if genuine, is enough to activate the law. Doubt, even in small measure, sabotages the process, introduces confusion into the subconscious, and cancels the power of faith. Let me illustrate with a practical parable. Imagine a farmer with two seeds, one wheat, one weed. He plants both in the same soil, and nature does not judge. It simply grows what it receives. Your subconscious mind is the soil. Faith is the wheat seed, doubt is the weed. If you plant both feelings, the harvest will be confused and weak. If you plant only faith, the harvest will be abundant and clear. You may ask how to cultivate genuine faith. The first step is to begin with small healings, those your mind can accept without resistance. If you have a headache, practice visualization. Affirm, divine life flows freely through my mind. I am at peace and free of tension. Observe the result. If you cut your finger, apply the law. My body restores itself perfectly, right now. When you witness success in small matters, your confidence will grow for greater ones. This is how the ladder of faith works. Each step is a triumph. Each result reinforces your certainty. I conducted this same experiment in my own life. I once experienced a minor but persistent discomfort despite usual remedies. I consciously applied the principle. For 3 nights before sleeping, I repeated, "Every cell in my body is perfect. Divine life manifests now." I imagined my body radiant with health. On the 3rd day, the symptom vanished inexplicably. It was a vivid lesson. The law always responds when faith is authentic. Do not underestimate the importance of others' testimonies. When you read or hear stories of healing, your mind opens to possibility. The subconscious, seeing evidence in others, begins to accept that it is also possible for you. That is why I share documented cases, not to impress, but to sow faith in your own heart. Consider the story of the Roman centurion, Matthew 8:5 and 13. This man, unfamiliar with Jewish religion, approached Jesus for his servant's healing. He said, "Just say the word, and my servant will be healed." Jesus exclaimed, "I have not found such faith in Israel." The centurion understood the principle of authority. This is the mental law. You do not need to know all the internal mechanisms. Just as you do not need to understand electricity to turn on a lamp, you only need to activate the switch of faith. Trust the law, and it will act. But beware of manipulative faith, the kind that demands results in a specific time or way, obsessed with the how and the when. That anxiety creates resistance and blocks the work of the subconscious. True faith is relaxed trust. Assume the feeling of the fulfilled desire and watch the path open. Neville Goddard expressed it clearly. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the way it opens before you. A memorable case involved an agnostic woman suffering from thyroid disorders. She was not religious, but understood the mental law. She began visualizing her gland functioning perfectly, affirming, "My thyroid is healthy and balanced." She practiced consistently without attachment to form, trusting only in the law. Gradually, her health normalized. Her testimony confirms, the law responds to conviction, not religious affiliation. Faith strengthens like a muscle through practice and personal evidence. Each night, when the subconscious is most receptive, practice nighttime faith. Affirm, "I believe in the perfect healing power operating in my now. I accept my complete healing." Do this with feeling, as one turns on a light switch. Do not focus on the process, focus on certainty. I propose a simple yet powerful exercise, the ladder of faith. Choose a minor condition. Apply the law. Visualize, affirm, feel the result. Once you witness the manifestation, move to a greater condition. Step by step, your faith becomes robust, like a tree growing from a seed. Remember the story of the child with leukemia. Despite grim medical prognoses, his parents maintained unwavering faith for 18 months, praying and visualizing their child's perfect health daily. One day, doctors confirmed total remission with no scientific explanation. The law responded to sustained faith, not vacillating hope. I have received letters from people who moved from doubt to conviction after practicing these principles. One wrote, "I began skeptical, but after healing my chronic pain, my faith in the mental law is absolute." 5 similar cases confirmed the same truth. Evidence is the best teacher. Today proclaim with strength, "My faith is based on understanding the law. I trust in the invisible power that heals and restores. Each day my conviction grows." Faith that moves mountains is not a mystery or a privilege for a few. It is a certainty that you can cultivate step by step until you witness the manifestation of perfect health in your life. As you decree it, so it shall be. Chapter 6, Healing Visualization, See to Believe, Believe to See. You may have heard the phrase, see to believe. However, in the realm of mental power and true healing, the formula is reversed. First you believe, then you see. The mechanism that translates internal belief into physical reality is visualization. Visualization is not mere fantasy or mental play. It is a precise and powerful tool to communicate to your subconscious what you wish to experience in your body. The subconscious does not think in words, it thinks in images and responds faithfully to the internal movies you project again and again. Why does visualization produce results where other techniques fail? Because the subconscious is literal. When faced with vivid and repeated images, it responds as if the imagined scenario were real. Science has confirmed this. Studies with athletes have shown that those who visualize their routines improve almost as much as those who physically practice them. The body begins to respond, strengthen neural circuits, and release chemicals as if the event were actually happening. But there is a fundamental difference you must understand and apply. Visualize the result, not the process. Do not spend time imagining battling the illness or struggling with symptoms. Instead, see the final outcome, yourself healthy, strong, performing activities that once seemed impossible. If you have a weak heart, do not picture medications or hospitals. Imagine your heart beating strongly, filling your body with energy. If faced with a complicated diagnosis, do not mentally repeat the disease label. Visualize the medical report declaring, "All is normal." I have witnessed astonishing cases where consistent visualization transformed what appeared to be hopeless. I recall an athlete paralyzed in an accident. He was told he would never walk again. For 6 months, every day he spent 20 minutes imagining, feeling, and experiencing his legs moving, running, jumping. He visualized active muscles, energy flowing, perfect health in every cell. He saw himself celebrating victories, receiving applause. After that time, he recovered 80% of his mobility. The doctor was amazed, but he was not, for he had already seen the scene in his mind long before it appeared in his body. The technique of healing visualization is as precise as that of an architect. Before laying a single brick, the architect visualizes the completed building, examines every detail, feels the solidity, imagines the functionality. Only then does the construction begin. Similarly, you must see and feel your healthy body internally before the change manifests externally. The process is the same. The law is identical. For visualization to be effective, it is essential to practice it in a deeply relaxed state, known as the alpha state. In this state, the conscious mind decreases its vigilance and the subconscious becomes receptive. The best times are upon waking and before sleeping, when the boundary between conscious and subconscious is thinnest. 10 to 15 minutes twice a day is sufficient. More important than duration is the quality of the experience. Involve all your senses. Do not just see the image, feel it. Hear the sounds, smell the aromas, experience the movement and freedom of being completely healthy. The golden rule: always visualize from the first-person perspective. Do not watch yourself as a spectator. Immerse yourself in the scene. Feel your body, move your hands, laugh, run, hug your loved ones. Make the internal experience as real as possible. The subconscious does not distinguish between lived and intensely imagined experiences. Repeat the process daily and watch as your reality gradually aligns with the internal image. Allow me to share another enlightening example. A woman diagnosed with a tumor used healing visualization. Every night, she relaxed deeply, imagined her tumor surrounded by golden light, and visualized that light gently dissolving the tumor cell by cell. She felt lightness, experienced gratitude and joy, and gave thanks for perfect health. After 4 months, the tumor had disappeared, to her doctor's amazement. Another case involved a man with heart disease. He visualized his heart strong, beating in perfect rhythm, pumping life through his entire body. He saw himself climbing stairs with ease, playing with his grandchildren, experiencing renewed vitality. His condition improved to the point that he could discontinue medications previously deemed essential. Even children respond powerfully to visualization. A child with asthma, unable to run without triggering attacks, visualized himself running freely, breathing deeply, feeling the joy of movement. Within months, his attacks decreased by 70%. Visualization has also been used by cancer patients, who imagine their white blood cells as victorious little warriors attacking and eliminating damaged cells. This technique, a precursor to modern medical visualization, demonstrates that the subconscious responds to symbolic images as powerfully as to literal ones. Master exercise, visualization of perfect organs. I will guide you step by step through a process I have recommended to thousands of people with consistent results. Complete relaxation. Sit or lie comfortably. Breathe deeply several times, counting backward from 10 to 1, relaxing each muscle, releasing all tension. Mental focus. Bring your attention to the affected organ or area. Feel it in your mind without fear. Just observe. Visualize golden light. Imagine the area filled with warm, gentle golden light. Watch as the light cleanses, repairs, and revitalizes every cell. Visualize perfect function. See the organ functioning perfectly, better than ever. Feel it strong, flexible, harmonious. Feel relief, Experience the joy, peace, and relief of being completely healthy. Smile, enjoy, and give thanks as if it has already happened. Give thanks with conviction. Affirm, "Thank you, my organ is perfect now." Release and trust. Let go of the visualization, trusting fully that the mental law is at work, even if you do not yet see immediate physical results. Guided visualization. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, and exhale. Imagine a ray of golden light descending from above, entering through your crown and filling every corner of your body. Direct this light to the area needing healing. Watch as it penetrates, cleanses, heals, and renews every cell. Feel the area vibrant, alive. Visualize the tissues fully restored and functioning perfectly. See yourself doing activities previously hindered by your condition. Running, jumping, laughing, embracing. Feel the freedom and joy. While holding this image, mentally affirm, "Thank you, perfect life operates in every cell of my body." Remain in this state for 10 to 15 minutes. When finished, breathe deeply, open your eyes, and continue your day with gratitude and confidence. Practice this upon waking and before sleeping. Persist, and you will see visible, often surprising results. Remember, visualization is not fantasy. It is the conscious sowing of healthy images into the fertile ground of the subconscious. Just as an architect visualizes before building, so must you see and feel your perfect health before it manifests. From today, proclaim within yourself, "What I see and feel in my mind expresses in my body. I visualize health. I receive health." The internal image is the cause, the external reality is the effect. Believe to see and you will see. This is the law. This is how the paths to true healing open. Chapter 7, The Power of the Spoken Word, Decrees that Transform the Body. In the beginning was the Word, so says the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. Why does this statement open the sacred text? Because it contains one of the most powerful and least understood laws of existence. The spoken word is not merely a sound, it is a creative force that shapes physical reality. Everything you see, everything you experience, is ultimately the result of decrees issued by your mind, often unconsciously, and especially of the words you speak with feeling and conviction. The repeated and heartfelt word is a direct command to the subconscious. It takes it literally, without nuance or irony, and executes the mandate in the body and circumstances. That is why you must guard carefully the language you use, especially concerning your health. Words like, "I'm starving," "This is making me sick," "I can't take it anymore," repeated day after day, are orders your subconscious translates into symptoms, ailments, and limitations. The Bible expresses this without ambiguity. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Let me illustrate this principle with the parable of the sower. Mark 4. The sower scatters seeds. Some fall on good soil and yield fruit, others on stones or among thorns and do not prosper. Similarly, every word you speak is a seed planted in the fertile field of your subconscious. If your words are of health, peace, and strength, you will harvest well-being. If they are of illness, fear, or lack, the outcome will be discord. The secret lies in consciously and persistently sowing only what you wish to see manifested. It is not enough to utter words at random or repeat affirmations without feeling. The subconscious responds only to what is perceived with emotion and conviction. A mechanical, empty affirmation holds no transformative power. That is why I insist. When you decree, put all your feeling into it. Visualize the result. Give thanks as if it were already real, and always affirm in the present tense, not the future. Do not say, "I will be healthy." That indefinitely postpones manifestation. Say, "I am healthy now," because the subconscious operates only in the eternal present. The mirror technique is a powerful tool. Look into your own eyes without avoidance and affirm, "I am completely healthy. Every cell of my body radiates life and perfection. I am the expression of divine health." At first, resistance, doubts, or conflicting emotions may arise. Persevere. Daily repetition erases old patterns and engraves the new image deep within your being. Nighttime decrees deserve special attention. Before sleep, when the conscious mind relaxes, the subconscious is most receptive. Use this moment to program health, peace, and renewal. Repeat your decree calmly. Feel each word gently penetrate and settle in your inner mind. There is no fixed number of repetitions. Repeat until you feel peace, the unmistakable sign that the command has been accepted. Avoid contradicting your decrees in daily conversation. If you affirm health in the morning and talk about symptoms or illness throughout the day, you undo the work done. Be consistent. Eliminate negative vocabulary such as disease, pain, problem, and replace it with health, well-being, harmony. Let me share some examples. A man who had suffered depression for years learned these principles and decided to radically change his vocabulary. Whenever he felt the urge to say, "I can't take it," nothing improves, he affirmed aloud. "Joy and peace fill my mind now. Every day I'm stronger and more energized." Within weeks, his family noticed the change, and in a few months, depression gave way to renewed vitality. The change was not instant, but it was lasting. Another woman suffered from chronic insomnia. At night, she repeated her complaint mentally. "I can never sleep. My body is exhausted." She learned to replace these words with the decree, "I surrender to restorative sleep. Each night I rest deeply." Within weeks, her sleep normalized. Here are the 7 master healing decrees. Choose the one that resonates most with your condition, or adapt one of your own. Consistency and feeling are key. Total healing. Decree divine life flows perfectly through every cell, organ, and tissue of my body. I am now restored to the original perfection of the divine plan. Organic perfection decree. My specific organ functions perfectly and harmoniously. It is filled with divine intelligence and perfect life. Divine immunity. Decree, I am surrounded and infused with divine life. No negative belief can touch me. Only perfect health manifests in me. Absolute peace decree. Divine peace floods my mind and body now. Everything in me is in perfect balance. Renewed energy decree. Each day I awaken renewed. Divine energy restores and strengthens me. Vital joy. Decree, joy is my natural state. My body and mind express happiness and vitality. Complete release. Decree, I release all discordant thoughts and emotions. I am free, healthy, and harmonious. I suggest a practical and transformative exercise, the 40-day decree challenge. Choose one decree and repeat it 50 times each morning and night for 40 consecutive days. In biblical tradition, the number 40 symbolizes complete transformation. Perform it with conviction, without fail. Observe how your body and life begin to align with the words you have sown. And do not forget this crucial warning. Do not contradict your decree with casual conversations or doubtful thoughts. Consistency is key. Just as the farmer protects the planted seed, protect your decree from contrary words and thoughts. Testimonies worldwide confirm this principle. An executive with a stomach ulcer repeated faithfully each morning, "Divine peace fills my stomach now." Within 6 weeks, his ulcer healed, astonishing the medical staff. 3 other readers reported remarkable improvements using only the power of the words spoken with feeling. From today, recognize and use your word as an instrument of power. Proclaim, "My word is law for my subconscious mind." Decree health and health manifests. This is how it works. Your inner voice is the key. Use this gift and transform your body, your life, and your destiny. Chapter 8. Distant Healing, How to Help Others from Afar. There is a powerful truth confirmed time and again in the laboratories of the soul and in everyday life. All minds are connected at the deepest level of the subconscious. Even though our bodies may be separated by miles, even continents in the mental-spiritual dimension, real distance does not exist. This invisible unity, which modern science is only beginning to glimpse through quantum physics, is the foundation of distant healing and explains why prayer for others, when practiced correctly, produces such astonishing results. There is no magic or superstitious mysticism in this phenomenon. The principle is as scientific as transmitting a radio signal. Your mind acts as a powerful transmitter, and the mind of the person you wish to help acts as the receiver. When both tune into the same frequency of health, perfection, and well-being, the mental image travels and impresses upon the recipient's subconscious, producing tangible results. Physical distance is irrelevant. What matters is the clarity and constancy of your thought. Jesus himself exemplified this principle in the story of the Roman centurion, Matthew 8:5 and 13. The centurion came, pleading for healing for his servant, gravely ill at home. Jesus did not need to touch him or visit him. He simply said, "Go, and as you have believed, so let it be done for you." At that very hour, the servant was healed. The centurion's faith, combined with Jesus' word of power, crossed the physical distance and impressed the body of the sick servant. The method is simple. Maintain a perfect vision in your consciousness, free from doubt. It is crucial to understand that the healer does not heal. You do not possess magical powers over another person's body. Your role is to hold the truth of perfection in your mind and allow the universal law to operate through the channel of your thought. You do not impose or force. Simply sustain the image, affirm the health, and release the outcome. The sick person's subconscious responds to the extent that it is receptive. For ethical reasons, never impose your treatment on another without their consent. If the patient is unconscious or permission cannot be obtained, act from compassion, without trying to control, always complementing and never replacing professional care. If the patient knows that you are praying for them and is open to receiving, the channel is clearer and mental resistance diminishes. Interestingly, distant healing is often more effective when the recipient is unaware of the prayer at that exact moment, because their conscious mind does not resist, question, or analyze. The subconscious, free of barriers, receives the impression and translates it into biological changes. It is like leaving the radio on while you sleep. The music arrives even if you are not paying attention. A common mistake: never focus your prayer on the illness. Do not mentally repeat the diagnosis or dwell on symptoms. That only reinforces the problem in the mental field. Use the perfect substitute technique. Visualize the person completely healthy, radiant, happy, living in fullness. Affirm that this is their true reality beyond temporary appearances. The power of group prayer is multiplicative. When several people hold the same image, the vibration intensifies and manifestation often accelerates. Just as multiple transmitters strengthen a signal, several minds focused on perfection open unexpected paths to healing. However, not everyone responds equally. If the recipient holds deeply ingrained subconscious beliefs of pain, guilt, fear, or impossibility, the mental law cannot fully operate until that resistance dissolves. Therefore, even the most fervent prayer may sometimes appear to yield no immediate results. This is not failure. It is part of the process. Persist, release, and trust. Let me share a story of a mother whose faith and consistency moved many. Her son, in a coma 3,000 kilometers away, was pronounced hopeless by doctors. She, refusing to resign herself, prayed each night, visualizing him smiling, full of life, talking and laughing with her. One night, during deep concentration, she felt a wave of peace. That very night, her son awoke from the coma unexpectedly, without medical explanation. Such cases abound when the mind aligns with love and certainty. Scientific evidence also supports this law. Dr. Larry Dossey has documented studies showing that cardiac patients improve remarkably when included in distant prayer chains, even without knowing it. The connected mind is the laboratory of the new century. Here is the master method for distant healing to apply to anyone you wish to help. Preparation. Find a quiet place. Sit comfortably, close your eyes and breathe deeply. Relax your body and quiet your mind for a few minutes. Visualization. Bring to mind the person you wish to help. Visualize them radiant with health, happy, full, surrounded by golden or white light, symbols of perfect life. Affirmation. Speak softly or mentally. Infinite healing presence operates perfectly in name right now. Every cell of their body is saturated with divine life. Name is completely healthy, whole, and perfect. Feeling. Feel genuine gratitude as if the healing has already occurred. Feel joy, peace, and certainty. Release, fully let go of the image and affirmation. Do not cling to the result or monitor anxiously. Trust the law and let the higher power act. Duration. Dedicate 15 minutes daily until you observe results or feel peace within. As practice, start with someone with a minor condition to strengthen your confidence before addressing more severe cases. Note your observations without anxiety or rigid expectations. Always remember, if the person is under medical care, your mental work complements, not replaces, professional treatment. If the situation allows, encourage the patient to follow all medical instructions while you apply the mental law. Testimonies abound. The child with diabetes whose condition improved when the entire family prayed and visualized daily for a month. The grandmother with pneumonia on another continent, healed while her grandchildren held the vision of her perfect health. In my own congregation, a prayer group documented improvements in 12 of 15 critical patients within weeks. Parents, grandparents, and friends have witnessed life renewed in loved ones when the correct vision is held with love and persistence. From today, proclaim inwardly, "The mind connects all that is created. I sustain the perfection of those I love, and the law responds." Where the vision is clear, healing occurs. Love held with conviction travels faster than light and brings life where there was once only shadow. You are a channel of that power. Use it responsibly and with faith. The world needs it. Chapter 9. Healing Crises, Understanding Temporary Reactions. The path to healing is rarely a straight line. One of the most perplexing obstacles for those beginning a spiritual treatment is the phenomenon of the healing crisis. That moment when, instead of immediate improvement, there appears to be a worsening new symptoms or a temporary intensification of discomfort. Many, without this understanding, give up just before dawn, abandoning the harvest when the earth is only beginning to open. Let me explain what happens so that you are never deceived by appearances. The subconscious is a vast repository of habits, beliefs, and old emotions. When you begin a mental treatment, when you affirm health, visualize perfection, and decree freedom, you start introducing a new pattern into your deep mind. But the subconscious, by nature, resists change, even for the better, because it is accustomed to the known, even if that old pattern is suffering or limitation. It is like an old house. When you begin to clean and renovate, first comes the dust accumulated over years. This resistance can manifest in several ways: intensified physical symptoms, disturbing dreams, waves of anxiety or painful memories emerging unexpectedly. Do not be alarmed. Just as a broken bone aches while healing, so too can spiritual energy, as it reorganizes body and mind, produce intense sensations before restoring balance. It is the dark night before dawn, described since the times of Job in the Old Testament, the moment of greatest doubt just before complete restoration. I recall the case of a woman diagnosed with cancer who began practicing visualization and affirmations of perfect health. During the first weeks, her tumor appeared to increase in size. Inflammation intensified. Doctors feared the worst, but she, guided by these principles, did not panic. She persisted, maintained the vision of perfection, and within a few weeks, the inflammation subsided and the tumor disappeared entirely. What she experienced was a healing crisis, the body eliminating toxins and reorganizing tissues under the new mental direction. Another example is of a man struggling with a long-term addiction who prayed intensely for liberation. In the following days, withdrawal symptoms became almost unbearable: anxiety, insomnia, and irritability. Tempted to give up, he remembered the teaching: when the old mind fights to survive, it is a sign that profound change is underway. He persisted, and within days the compulsion subsided, and he experienced a peace previously unknown. How can you distinguish a legitimate healing crisis from a genuine worsening that requires medical attention? There are clear signals. A healing crisis is usually intense but brief, followed by evident improvement. Often there is an intuitive sense that something is shifting inside, a profound change, even if uncomfortable. Vivid dreams, emotional catharses, or the need to cry and release old sorrows may occur. After the storm, lightness and well-being emerge renewed. However, prudence is essential. If symptoms persist for more than a week or become dangerous, always consult a medical professional. This is not a sign of weakness or lack of faith, but of practical wisdom. Spiritual law never opposes common sense or science. The first month of any mental treatment is critical. It is the period in which the new pattern must be firmly sustained by the conscious mind until the subconscious fully accepts it. The phenomenon of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, days of progress followed by apparent setbacks, is common. Do not be discouraged. It is a sign of progress, not failure. Here is a simple protocol to navigate these crises without losing faith or focus. Do not panic at temporary symptoms. Recognize them as part of the process. Intensify, do not abandon your spiritual treatment. Affirm, visualize, and pray with greater determination. Maintain the final image of perfection, health, and freedom without obsessing over temporary symptoms. Affirm with conviction, this too shall pass. Healing is operating perfectly in me. Consult a doctor if symptoms persist or become dangerous. It is always better to err on the side of caution. When doubt arises, use persistence affirmations. Each symptom is a sign of my liberation. Divine life restores me. Now I trust the process. I emerge from this dark night into the light of perfect health. I have received many letters recounting these challenges and victories. One man wrote, "On day 23 of the treatment, I thought of giving up. I felt worse than at the start, but I remembered your words and persisted. By day 30, my body and mind had made a complete turn. I had never felt such peace and vitality. This is how the law works. The moment of greatest tension is often the threshold of the miracle." I myself have experienced minor healing crises when changing deep patterns, insomnia followed by deep rest, anxiety followed by renewed calm. I know from experience that what appears to be a setback is often only the threshold of transformation. Remember, all deep healing removes the old before the new can settle. The subconscious cleans, reorganizes, and expels what no longer serves. Do not give up just before dawn. Affirm, persist, trust. The crisis is a sign that healing is underway. After the darkest night, light always comes. Chapter 10. Healing and Medicine Allies, Not Enemies. One of the most serious and common mistakes on the spiritual path is to oppose inner healing to modern medicine. Let me say this clearly. Spiritual healing and medicine are not rivals, but natural allies. Rejecting the help of medical science out of fanaticism or fear is not only unnecessary, but can result in preventable tragedies. True spiritual understanding recognizes that all useful knowledge, all healing technology, and all capable physicians are expressions of divine intelligence manifested through human hands. Jesus himself did not reject doctors. Among his circle were men like Luke, who practiced medicine. The Gospel of Luke 5:31 quotes him saying, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick." With these words, the Master validates the role of the physician and the need to seek proper help in case of physical illness. If Jesus himself acknowledged medicine, why should a spiritual seeker today reject it? Understand this well. Medicine treats the physical body. Spiritual healing addresses the mental and emotional causes. Both operate on different levels, and when combined wisely, they produce superior results. Medicine acts as an immediate agent to relieve symptoms, restore function, or save life in critical situations. In parallel, the mind can correct the root cause, release resentments, harmonize emotions, and create internal conditions that favor lasting recovery. I have known people who, misunderstanding these principles, rejected medical help in urgent conditions, relying only on prayer. One tragic case involved a man with acute appendicitis who, believing he should only pray, refused surgery. He arrived at the hospital on the verge of death. The lesson is clear. God works both through faith and through medical resources. Rejecting one is rejecting the whole. Allow me to share a modern parable I often use with my students. A man is on the roof of his house during a flood. He prays fervently to be rescued. A boat passes, but he refuses it. God will save me. A helicopter arrives, and he still refuses. Finally, he perishes and asks God why he did not save him. God replies, "I sent you 3 boats. This is how medicine works. It does not always come in the form you expect, but it is an answer to your prayer channeled through human hands. Proper integration follows a simple and effective protocol. Seek professional medical diagnosis. Do not refuse evaluation or ignore important symptoms. Follow prescribed treatment diligently. Do not abandon medication or procedures out of whim or fear. Simultaneously apply spiritual healing. Visualize and affirm perfection and inner harmony. Visualize the medicine working perfectly in your body. Imagine the medication as a carrier of divine life, restoring every cell. Give thanks to both the physicians and the divine power. Recognize that both channels, science and faith, come from the same source. If improvement allows medication reduction, do so only under medical supervision. Prudence and humility are signs of wisdom, not weakness. Here are affirmations to use alongside medical treatment to reinforce subconscious action and enhance the effect of the medicine or procedure. This medicine is an instrument of divine healing power in me. The doctors who care for me are guided by infinite intelligence. I combine the best of heaven and earth for my perfect healing. I have witnessed many cases of wise integration. A woman with diabetes combined insulin with spiritual treatment, visualizing her pancreas functioning perfectly and expressing gratitude for her doctors. Gradually, under strict monitoring, she was able to reduce the dose nearly to zero. She never abandoned professional supervision and attributed her success to the combination of both paths. I know cancer patients who, while undergoing chemotherapy, added daily visualization of healthy cells and affirmations of organic perfection. Many reported minimal side effects and remarkable recovery. A diabetic wrote to me, "By adding affirmations and visualization to my medication, my lab results improved, and I was able to reduce my dose by 80% under medical supervision." Another woman undergoing treatment for depression experienced much faster improvement by combining her medication with affirmations of joy and peace. Always remember this fundamental warning. This book never advises abandoning professional medical treatment. Spiritual healing complements, enriches, and enhances medicine, but does not replace it in critical situations. When the ailment is minor or emotional, prayer and mind work may be sufficient. But in the case of serious illness, injury, accident, or acute crisis, always consult a doctor and follow their instructions. Never forget, all healing, whether through prayer, medicine, surgery, or any other channel, comes from the same divine source. God works through all forms: the surgeon's hand, the mind's power, the intelligence of nature. Your task is to integrate, not separate. Be grateful for every help, every advancement in science, every new medicine, as a response to humanity's universal prayer for health and well-being. Proclaim with conviction, "I accept and use all channels of healing God places within my reach. Medicine and mind work together to restore my body. I am grateful to my doctors and grateful to the healing power within me. So it is and so it shall be." Chapter 11. Healing of Specific Conditions, Targeted Treatments. Now we enter a highly practical section intended to help you find, for your particular case, a spiritual treatment that acts as a master key to the door of your healing. I suggest using this chapter as a reference manual, not as continuous reading. The guidance here is the result of observing hundreds, in some cases thousands, of people throughout my ministry. The human mind is deep and unique. The causes suggested here are the most common, but each person may discover through self-observation and honesty their most precise internal cause. If an affirmation does not resonate with you, contemplate, meditate, and ask your inner guidance. Intuition is the voice of the divine intelligence within you. The key principle is consistency. Choose the treatment that best suits your situation and apply it faithfully for at least 30 days. Do not jump from one treatment to another. The subconscious requires clear, persistent direction to accept the new imprint and manifest it in the body. Personalize each decree by changing words according to your need. The power lies in conviction, not in a rigid formula. Before starting, a responsible warning. These treatments complement medical diagnosis and treatment. Never abandon medical care to follow only the spiritual path. Combining both paths is the wisest and most powerful approach. Here are the most common conditions with complete spiritual treatments. 1. Arthritis and joint pain. Common mental cause: mental rigidity, self-criticism, inflexibility, unresolved resentment. Decree: my joints are flexible, strong, and free. I flow with life with grace and ease. I forgive all, including myself. Visualization: feel your limbs moving freely, each joint radiant with golden light and warmth. Sense flexibility and freedom in every movement. Testimony: a 68-year-old woman with severe arthritis improved 60% in 3 months through this treatment and daily forgiveness practice. 2. Cancer. Common mental cause: deep resentment, unhealed emotional wounds, entrenched bitterness. Decree: I choose love over resentment. I release all past pain. My body regenerates perfectly. Every cell is divine life manifesting. Visualization: imagine bright, warm light penetrating each cell, dissolving imperfections, multiplying healthy cells. Note: always under professional oncological supervision. Testimony: a terminally ill woman lived 5 full years applying this method daily, surpassing all medical prognoses. 3. Diabetes. Common mental cause: feeling that life lacks sweetness, bitterness, hunger for unreceived love. Decree: the sweetness of life fills me. My body processes everything perfectly. My pancreas functions in divine harmony. Visualization: visualize your pancreas radiant, producing perfect insulin. See balanced sugar levels. feel peace and sweetness in life. Testimony: a child reduced insulin by 40% in 6 months with spiritual support and daily family prayer. 4. Heart diseases. Common mental cause: lack of joy, emotional hardening, inability to love and receive love. Decree: my heart beats in perfect divine rhythm. I love and am loved. Joy flows freely through me. Visualization: imagine your heart as a radiant pink sun beating strong and steady, circulating love throughout your body. Testimony: man normalized arrhythmia after releasing deep resentments. 5. Hypertension. Common mental cause: unresolved emotional issues, constant tension, persistent fear. Decree: I release all tension. Divine peace flows through my body. My blood pressure is perfect and stable. Visualization: feel a calm current like soft water flowing through relaxed arteries. Testimony: executive normalized blood pressure in 8 weeks with daily visualization and affirmations. 6. Digestive problems, colitis, ulcers. Common mental cause: inability to digest experiences, anxiety, fear. Decree: I digest all life experiences perfectly. Peace fills my stomach. I absorb only what is good. Visualization: visualize your digestive system enveloped in light, functioning harmoniously, assimilating everything with peace. Testimony: woman healed chronic colitis after leaving a toxic workplace and applying this method. 7. Asthma and respiratory problems. Common mental cause: feeling suffocated, fear of living independently, overprotection. Decree: I breathe freely and deeply. Life flows easily to me. It is safe to live fully. Visualization: lungs expanding with pure air and light. Feel freedom and joy while breathing. Testimony: child reduced asthmatic attacks by 80% with daily visualization. 8. Insomnia. Common mental cause: fear, guilt, anxiety, excessive control. Decree: I trust life. I surrender to divine restorative sleep. I awaken renewed and restored. Visualization: feel yourself floating in an ocean of calm, warm light, completely safe and supported. Testimony: man with 5 years of insomnia began sleeping normally in 3 weeks. 9. Migraines and headaches. Common mental cause: self-criticism, perfectionism, mental tension. Decree: I fully accept myself. My mind is at peace. I release all tension now. Visualization: visualize fresh, soft light dissolving pressure. Your mind clears like a blue sky. Testimony: woman healed daily migraines after forgiving her mother and affirming herself. 10. Obesity and weight issues. Common mental cause: need for protection, insecurity, emotional emptiness. Decree: I am safe as I am. I consume only what my body needs. My weight is perfect and natural. Visualization: feel light and free. See your body at ideal weight, full of energy and confidence. Testimony: man lost 50 kilograms addressing childhood trauma and daily affirmations. 11. Depression. Common mental cause: repressed anger, hopelessness, sense of meaninglessness. Decree: divine light dissolves all darkness in me. I choose joy. My life has divine purpose. Visualization: imagine golden light filling your being, uplifting mood and energy. Testimony: woman overcame 10 years of depression in 6 months with daily prayer, affirmation, and gratitude. 12. Anxiety and panic attacks. Common mental cause: distrust in life process, fear of the future, need to control everything. Decree: I trust life completely. I am divinely protected always. All is well. Visualization: enveloped in a bubble of light, completely safe, feeling inner security and calm. Testimony: young person freed from panic attacks after 2 months of daily application. 13. Allergies. Common mental cause: unexpressed irritation, denial of own power. Decree: I am at peace with all life. I am one with my environment. My body responds harmoniously. Visualization: observe your immune system calm and in harmony with surroundings. Testimony: girl improved severe allergies when family resolved conflicts. 14. Thyroid problems. Common mental cause: hyper, doing too much for others, never enough. Hypo, giving up, feeling nothing matters. Decree: my thyroid functions perfectly. I have exactly the energy I need. My metabolism is perfect. Visualization: thyroid is a bright jewel in the throat, emitting balance and energy. Testimony: woman improved hypothyroidism by prioritizing herself. 15. Skin problems: psoriasis, eczema, acne. Common mental cause: feeling threatened, shame, need for protection. Decree: my skin is clear, smooth, and perfect. I feel safe being myself. I radiate love. Visualization: skin radiant and smooth, illuminated from within, feeling confidence and self-acceptance. Testimony: teen overcame severe acne by improving self-esteem and affirming self-worth. 1630. Additional conditions. For each of the following, apply the same structure. Identify the most common mental emotional cause, create a personal decree, perform guided visualization with the affected organ enveloped in light, and reinforce with daily affirmations. Vision problems, hearing problems, chronic infections, autoimmune diseases, back pain, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, reproductive issues, difficult menopause, prostate problems, addictions, kidney problems, and liver problems, osteoporosis. Final recommendations. If you have multiple conditions, choose a primary treatment and apply it consistently. Add secondary treatments only if it does not confuse your mind. Keep a progress journal. Note daily symptoms, emotions, improvements, and gratitude. This reinforces confidence and helps track subtle changes. Always remember, spiritual healing is a powerful complement, never a replacement for responsible medical care. These treatments have been fertile seeds in thousands of lives. You too can experience a harvest of health and harmony if you water your chosen seed daily with faith, perseverance, and gratitude. Apply it with conviction. Bless your body, bless your mind, and watch divine perfection begin to flourish where once there was pain. Chapter 12. Maintaining perfect health, life in healing consciousness. True healing is not an isolated event nor a momentary miracle. It is the natural result of living from a higher consciousness, a mental state where perfect health becomes the norm, not the exception. Let me say this clearly. Healing once is not enough. If you do not transform the mental and emotional patterns that caused the illness, it can return. Only a sustained healing consciousness day by day turns health into a habit, a permanent and natural condition. The first principle, permanent healing requires a transformation of consciousness, not just a temporary technique. Decreeing or visualizing for a few weeks and then returning to old thought patterns is insufficient. Just as a farmer does not plant once and walk away, he tends the soil, waters the seed, and removes weeds. You must cultivate your mind and spirit daily. Each day you plant in your subconscious thoughts of life, gratitude, and well-being, or through neglect, thoughts of worry, fear, and resentment. From my experience, people who enjoy permanent health share certain mental attitudes that act as the roots and shield of their well-being. Here are the 7 most powerful. Consciousness of divine perfection. They know beyond doubt that their true nature is perfect health. They affirm, divine life flows through me. I am health in action. Instant forgiveness. They release resentment as soon as it arises, never letting it take root. They practice the art of letting go, blessing, and moving forward. Perpetual gratitude. They constantly give thanks for their body, each function, each new day. Gratitude is their preventive medicine. Trust in life. They live with deep faith that the universe conspires for their good. They expect blessings, not disasters. Unconditional love. They love themselves and others without holding bitterness or resentment. Purpose lived. They feel their life has meaning, contribute, serve, and find significance in daily activities. Conscious presence. They live in the now, free from anxiety about the future or resentment from the past, attending fully to the present moment. Daily practices to cultivate healing consciousness. Morning routine. 15 minutes to set the tone for the day. Wake with gratitude. Upon opening your eyes, affirm, thank you for this new day and this perfect body. Master affirmation. Declare, divine life flows perfectly through me today. Visualization of the day. Imagine yourself moving with energy, vitality, and joy throughout your day. Bless each organ. Consciously thank your heart, lungs, stomach, legs, eyes, etc., while washing or eating breakfast. Protective shield. Visualize a golden light surrounding your body, impenetrable to negativity. Clear intention. Choose health, love, and harmony as your focus. Evening routine, 10 minutes. Day review. Mentally review the day and release any accumulated tension, fear, or irritation. Express forgiveness. Forgive any offense, yours or others, and release it from your heart. Specific gratitude. List 5 concrete things you are grateful for today. Regeneration affirmation. Repeat, I'm perfectly restored while I sleep. Visualization. See yourself waking renewed and radiant the next morning. Total surrender. Affirm, I surrender to divine restorative sleep. Responding to early symptoms. This is the crucial moment when most people fall into fear or denial. My recommendation is simple. Do not panic and do not ignore it. Acknowledge the symptom, but do not give it power. Apply the spiritual treatment immediately. Affirm, visualize, pray. Repeat the neutralization affirmation. This has no power over me. My perfect health is my reality. Ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? Listen to the answer from your intuition and adjust your thoughts or emotions accordingly. If the symptom persists more than 48 hours, consult a medical professional. Wisdom is never opposed to faith. The supreme key, spiritual immunity, a mental state where disease cannot take root because the mind and body are saturated with life, optimism, and peace. Just as a gardener watches over his garden to remove weeds as soon as they appear, you must monitor your thoughts. Do not allow criticism, complaint, gossip, worry, fear, or resentment to occupy your mind. They are true mental poisons. Replace them daily with positive mental nourishment. Inspirational reading, uplifting music, constructive conversation. Healing community. Surround yourself with people who believe in health, inner power, and life's goodness. Join or create prayer circles, affirmation groups, or healing communities. The environment reinforces and multiplies your energy. If you receive a medical diagnosis, do not accept it as a final sentence. Respect it. Follow instructions, but do not identify with the disease. Remember, the last word belongs to the power residing in your subconscious mind. Declare, this is only an appearance. I am perfect health in essence. Gratitude is preventive medicine. Thank your body now for what functions, for what is already well, and you will see the rest align with your consciousness of well-being. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Story of Marta. Marta healed a severe chronic condition by following these principles. Not only did she recover, but 15 years later she remained vibrant and full of energy. She taught these habits to hundreds, multiplying health and well-being. Her entire life changed because she made healing consciousness a way of life. Commitment exercise. Write and sign a personal contract with yourself to maintain these practices daily. Read this commitment every morning for 90 days until perfect health becomes your second nature. Remember, within you resides an unlimited healing power. This power has always been there, waiting for you to recognize and use it. It is not mine, nor anyone's special healer. It is yours. A divine birthright. Perfect health is your natural inheritance. Claim it now, accept it now, live it now. By doing so, you become a healing light for everyone around you. Go and share these truths. The world desperately needs them. Final blessing. May the infinite healing presence surround you, fill you, and express perfectly through you in every moment of every day. May you always recognize your true nature. Perfect health, abundant life, and divine love manifested. Amen. Resources for your path. A 90-day plan to establish permanent habits. Suggestions for support groups and prayer circles. Recommended readings by like-minded authors, and my own work. Space for correspondence, as I will always accompany you on this journey of health and fulfillment. Your consciousness is your greatest medicine, your faith is the key, and daily practice is your sure path to perfect health today and always. Amen.